Okay, let's unpack this. We are diving into something pretty big today. It feels less like a straightforward weapon sale and more like, well, like a 15-year blueprint for building up a whole industry. We're looking at South Korea making a massive industrial move in South America, specifically Peru.
That's right.
Our sources are detailing this immense, really long-term strategy. It's led by Hyundai Rotem, the defense giant. And they're planning to set up a major assembly and production complex right there in Peru.
Yeah, it's not just about shipping crates of equipment.
No, exactly.
No.
This is a really ambitious industrial plan. The goal seems to be significant technological autonomy for Peru's defense sector down the line. So our mission today is to really dig into the specifics. The hardware involved, we're talking the K2 Black Panther tank, the K808 White Tiger vehicle, both pretty cutting edge. And then there's the money, the huge financial commitment required, and this ultimate goal, trying to position Peru as maybe a regional defense industrial player.
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, the strategic depth here is what stands out. It really signals a shift, doesn't it? Away from just, buying things off the shelf or simple military aid,
Right.
towards real industrial co-production. This was actually laid out quite clearly during a forum called The Defense Industry as a State Policy. Brigadier General Jorge Arévalo Kalinowski spoke about it.
Okay.
And he's not just the Commander General of the Army's Logistics Command, he's also on the board of FAME, SAC.
FAME. That's the Peruvian state-owned defense company, right?
Exactly. And he really emphasized that the goal isn't just modernizing the Army's equipment, but doing it hand in hand with, well, drastically strengthening their own domestic defense industry.
Okay, let's talk about the scale then, because the numbers involved here, they really jump out at you. What kind of upfront financial commitment are we talking about just to get this thing off the ground?
It's a huge initial investment. Hyundai Rotem is planning to put in USD 270 million.
270 million.
Oh,
wow.
And that's purely for building this new industrial complex. The assembly lines, the specialized facilities. It's basically the price tag for setting up this kind of industrial collaboration.
Okay, so that initial 270 million, that's just for the bricks and mortar, the machinery.
Yeah.
But what about the long view, the overall cost and the timeline for this industrial evolution? Is this a quick upgrade or are we talking a generational thing?
Oh, absolutely a generational strategy. The whole plan stretches out over 15 years.
15 years.
Yeah, and the aim is to consolidate a fully national production chain eventually. It's also structured very deliberately. 2 distinct phases. Shows real strategic patience, I think.
Okay, 2 phases. What do they involve?
So phase 1, that's the first 3 years. The focus there is mainly on importing the initial systems, the tanks, the armored vehicles. But the key is facilitating training. Not just driving them, but the really deep mechanics. Operating, maintaining these high-spec K2 and K808 vehicles.
Right.
They're building the human capital first,
Okay, so the first 3 years are kind of like a tech transfer, a skills transfer, but on a smaller scale to start, getting people ready.
Precisely. Then phase 2 kicks in for the next 12 years.
12 years, okay.
And that's the industrial realization part. Continuing production, but through national assembly within Peru. And this phase, well, it comes with a pretty hefty projected annual cost, around USD 360 million per year.
Wow. 360 million a year for 12 years.
Yeah. So when you look at that whole 15-year, very detailed structure, it's a clear commitment. They're moving way beyond just buying foreign kit.
It's hard to really grasp the leap in capability they're making here. Peru's main battle tank right now is the T-55 Soviet era.
Yeah, a workhorse, but definitely Cold War vintage.
You're basically jumping forward, 5 decades of technology in one go?
The gap is just enormous. And these systems they've picked, the K2 and K808, they're designed for modern land warfare. The decision was made back in May 2024, officially. The Peruvian Army selected the K2 Black Panther as its future MBT to replace that aging T-55 fleet.
And it's not only the tanks. They're also upgrading the troop carriers, the mechanized infantry side of things.
Correct. They're also moving forward with getting 30 K808 White Tiger amphibious armored vehicles. That deal was confirmed a bit later, November 2024. And interestingly, it was routed through FAME, SAC.
Through the state company again.
Yeah. And both models, the K2 and K808, were actually displayed publicly at the SITAA 2025 Defense Show in Lima. So South Korea's commitment seems pretty clear, putting the hardware out there.
Okay, let's get into the K2 Black Panther a bit. What makes it so impressive? But let's, avoid just listing specs. What's the capability story?
What's fascinating here is the combination. It's got serious mobility paired with lethal firepower. The K2 runs on a very powerful engine, 1,500 horsepower, allows it to hit speeds up to 70 kilometers per hour.
That's fast for a tank.
It is, yeah. Especially for a heavy main battle tank. And critically, its main gun, the 120mm smoothbore, it's linked to a highly automated fire control system. That system dramatically increases reaction time, accuracy. It really puts the K2 in the top tier of MBTs globally.
Okay. And the K808 White Tiger, that brings the versatility needed for logistics and infantry support, right?
Absolutely. The K808, it's an 8x8 wheeled platform, highly mobile. It's got a 420 horsepower engine, can do 100 kilometers per hour on roads.
Wow.
But a key feature, especially for the kind of terrain you find in South America, is its amphibious capability. It can actually swim, basically. Move across rivers or lakes at about 8 kilometers per hour.
Useful.
Very. Makes it crucial for troop transport, quick reaction forces, reconnaissance, especially in areas with lots of water obstacles.
Okay, so impressive machines. But moving past the hardware specs,
Yeah.
the most critical piece, the part that really locks this in as a 15-year strategic relationship, is this local industrial requirement. The goal is to hit, progressively, 30% local industrial participation in assembling and producing parts for these high-tech systems. Is that realistic?
It's definitely ambitious, yeah. Especially when you're dealing with advanced military tech like this. But General Arévalo Kalinowski, he confirmed that Hyundai Rotem's initial assessment, their first site visit, was actually quite positive. They specifically looked at Peru's existing industrial base. So this isn't just theoretical, maybe we can build capacity. It's about leveraging what's already there.
Right, so what did they actually find? What capabilities does Peru have right now that Hyundai Rotem thinks they can use?
Well, they identified existing strengths in several key areas, things like high-quality welding, precision machining, manufacturing electrical parts, and also assembly for hydraulic components.
Okay, so there's a foundation.
There is. It means Peru doesn't have to start from scratch. They can bring existing local companies into the supply chain and, crucially, get them certified to the extremely high standards needed for, armored vehicle parts. That certification is key.
Yeah, that sounds like a huge step towards genuine technological autonomy.
Yeah.
It's not just getting the tanks, it's about being able to maintain them, maybe upgrade them down the line more independently.
Precisely. And this actually leads us to where the procurement strategy itself gets really interesting. How they structured the K808 deal, the wheeled vehicles. It seems designed specifically to help push this local content goal.
How so? I mean, if they want state-of-the-art vehicles, wouldn't they normally just go through the standard military procurement channels?
Usually, yes. The typical path would be through the Armed Forces Procurement Agency, which is known as ACFFAA. That's the standard body for overseeing major military acquisitions.
Right.
However, this K808 procurement was specifically excluded from ACFFAA's main list, the general list of strategic procurements.
Why would they do that? What's the point of bypassing the usual oversight?
Well, by routing the K808 deal through FAME-SAC, remember, the state-owned defense company, they essentially created a direct channel, government to state-owned company. This strategy looks like it was designed to allow a much quicker, more direct path for setting up this specific industrial partnership and locking in that local assembly commitment.
I see.
It seems they prioritized the co-production model maybe over the broader, potentially slower, traditional acquisition oversight process for this particular deal.
That's quite a sophisticated strategic move then. Basically using a specialized procurement route to kind of fast-track the industrialization part of the deal.
It really shows where the emphasis lies, doesn't it? It seems focused squarely on industrial development. They're maneuvering institutionally to make sure this 30% local content target isn't just a promise on paper, but something they can actually deliver on. And achieving that level of localization, it transforms Peruvian companies. They become certified providers in complex military supply chains. That's a massive milestone for the country.
So if this whole 15-year, multi-billion-dollar plan comes together, Peru gets these cutting-edge combat systems, sure. But maybe even more importantly, it establishes a major regional precedent, in technology transfer, in military co-production.
This is where you start seeing the potential regional strategic impact.
Absolutely. This kind of effort, building a sustainable long-term industrial base, it inevitably affects the regional balance. When a country shifts from just being a customer for foreign military tech to becoming a certified co-producer.
Well, its strategic weight changes. It feels like Peru is clearly positioning itself.
As an emerging hub.
Potentially, yeah. An emerging hub for South America's defense industry.
That capacity building really is the game changer. It's not just about having better tanks today, it's about industrial resilience, maybe even innovation for the next couple of decades.
Absolutely. Consolidating a strong national assembly capability,
Yeah.
building that supply chain, it means they gain more control over their own maintenance, their upgrades, and ultimately over the intellectual property transfer involved.
Okay, so let's quickly recap the key points for you listening. We're looking at these foundational systems, the K2 Black Panther tank, the K808 White Tiger vehicle. They're backed by a really substantial initial investment, USD 270 million, just to build the plant. And it's all driving towards this huge 15-year goal, hitting 30% local content in production and assembly, even using some strategic procurement maneuvering to help make that happen faster.
And it seems this framework, this partnership model, it's already growing. It's not just Hyundai Rotem and armored vehicles. Our sources also mention that there's already another agreement in place between South Korea's SDX Corporation and Fame SAC again.
Oh, really? What's that for?
To equip the Peruvian Army with new KLTV 4x4 tactical vehicles like Jeeps, but modern ones.
Okay, so it's expanding beyond heavy armor.
It signals that this long-term relationship is becoming multi-layered. It's expanding pretty rapidly across different types of platforms and different South Korean companies.
Right. Okay, so here's the final thought for you to mull over after this deep dive. We have this ambitious 15-year roadmap. It involves complex technology transfer, multiple foreign companies, dozens, maybe hundreds, of local Peruvian suppliers who need to get military-grade certification and maintain it. Now, considering that complexity, the logistics, the quality control over such a long time, maybe even political shifts, what are the hidden challenges? What could potentially derail keeping up that 30% local content goal, verifying it consistently over the next decade and a half? It's a huge promise, requires constant commitment, doesn't it? Something to think about.
Don't forget to hit subscribe if you want to stay ahead of the biggest shifts in aerospace, geopolitics, and defense innovation.